Always glad I came. Always glad I came on these wanders. Hey guys, we're gonna go for a quick hike at Boucherie Trails here in suburban Kelowna. Let's get at it. Good to know. All right. At the Mount Boucherie Trails, we are here. Gonna go up, take the first one for the more difficult option, and then come back around to here. Looks like a great trail. I don't know the distance, but the one we're on is a single diamond. This andesite grinder, it's called. As soon as you start the process, you've got the option of going left or right. From what I gather, this more difficult one is up this way on the right, so let's start in on that. Very initial phase of it, you're right beside some of this residential here, and then kind of starts to get more foresty. And up on the left, we've got some cliffs. The cliffs really are quite dramatic. Last time I came through here, not that long ago, I encountered something in this immediate vicinity, and I would bet that that is his abode. So let's just mosey on through here. And at this point, 1,017 meters, you can go either way here. We're gonna keep going right on this andesite grinder and get up to the top and then go left. Beautifully out of breath. I think about halfway up. The glorious visuals. Terrain gets what I guess you would call rockier at this point. Not shale, but it's not dirt any longer you're walking on. That's not an easy go. It's beautiful. I kept all my garments done up tight so I get good sweat going. What happens though when you get to the top of this initial thing, which is that one there, is you come to basically a four-way intersection, and there's no clear indication of which way leads where. I have a vague sense of where I want to get going, so I'm going to go up this way a little bit and see where that goes, but a little annoying that there isn't a little clearer demarcation. Otherwise, it's an incredible hike. It's a tough go though. This is one of the tougher ones I think I've ever done in the Okanagan. Essentially the top of the Boucherie hike after coming up the harder one. Downtown Kelowna straight ahead, Highway 97, Okanagan Lake. You're hearing that in the background. West Kelowna. Distribution. That's agricultural there in front of us, and I see we have, I think that's search and rescue helicopter. So we might get that visual. And Rose Valley, the lake and McDougall Rim and whatnot is kind of straight that way. Been there as well. And 97 carries on towards Penticton down that way. With a glorious sweat going. Some of it fostered. I stayed overly dressed for this to try and get that going, but always glad I came on the wanders when I do. No exception. The way down is the Boucherie trail proper, I guess it's called. I don't know, and it's much gentler than what we've just done there, so down will be a lot easier. Bit of perspective on some of the unique businesses operating in this area. So these and these are all greenhouses. There's a lot of horticulture, agriculture right here in Greater Kelowna. This is outdoor plants and whatnot as well. This is an RV thing. So sales, service, maintenance, storage. RVs are a really big business here as well. And there are subsidiary businesses surrounding the RV world. People that go out and clean them or maintain them or whatever you do with RVs. Some neat weather patterns above the lake there. That lake is so big that when a storm comes through the valley there, you can see the lake drawing moisture, or the storm itself drawing moisture up from the lake, feeding the weather system. What could be called the top of the hike, I guess, from the other side. The lake kind of comes around that way, and how's that for gorgeous? We might as well go right to the edge on this side as well, hey? Toots and giggles. Sort of the gratuitous cliff shot for this video. I'm not going to get too close because, as you'll probably see in a moment, it ends up being a long way down. Let me get right to the edge. I have been fortunate enough to capture some incredible photos today and video as well. Quite clearly, we'll get another quick shot around just on the edge, being very cautious because that's where we're going if we don't pay attention. So how be just partake of a little more of this beauty and back away. Touched on how I was going to try in these videos and sort of reveal a little more of what's kind of going on other than the activities like this hike I'm on, or creative circumstances or whatnot, but stuff actually going on with myself. And also mentioned several times how when I view these videos, I'm not overly keen on, dark duress circumstances. I want to show you this first and then I'll continue. Neat. I want pleasantness or beauty or humor or adventure or whatever. So let's kind of focus on that. Not like there's a huge tragedy going on anyway, but there's a benefit that has been described by neuroscientists to imposing little discipline exercises on yourself. And you get the benefit of whatever the behavior directly involves, but also there's a neurological boost that happens because I guess you're sort of patting yourself on the back, I guess. And I've been effectively imposing that on the lifestyle to minor degrees, I guess. And it does absolutely certainly benefit, I'm noticing. And it becomes a part of the lifestyle overall, where you're trying to consistently moderate, your behavior to a benefit that way. So that's definitely one of the positives that I can share with y'all. I'm gonna get some more photos and we'll carry on. From the last spot with the intensely incredible views, we come down here and we're going to carry on sort of straight ahead there and veer left on what I'm assuming is a much gentler decline route back down to the main parking area. And I like the look of that right there. There's the lake and the trail the other way. A little more personals. We got time, right? We're gonna hike for a little while. The benefit of consistent cardio has become incredibly apparent to me. So previously, when I may not have been in an ideal circumstance, I may have coped in certain ways that were less healthy, let's say, than getting out and getting some really good cardiovascular exercise. Just give you a quick peek of what's over this little knoll here, and then we'll carry on. But fully aware and fully implementing consistent exercise. Not so much with the weights, although I think I might get back into that a little bit. Ski season is not far around the corner, so the definite benefits that way. Exercise and fresh air and a little bit of social and all of that. Yeah, hike down is definitely much gentler on this Boucherie route. Give you a sense of where this is. Directly above the city, right there. I just met a hiker, a woman with her dog going the other way, and she says that there are consistent bear sightings in this spot. There are multiple signs, so you kind of know it, but it is kind of remarkable that in this close proximity to the city, right there, you get this kind of wildlife going on. It's a beautiful thing. The reason why I often stop when there is anyone in proximity to me when I'm in one of these locations doing my thing is when I'm out and about doing that, I don't generally want to hear some guy or a woman yapping into their phone about some business thing they're up to, or someone in one of these video types talking into their camera about what's going on and what they're doing and whatever. It's not an aspect of the process that I care to be around when I don't have the camera on. So as a courtesy, whenever there's somebody coming one way or the other, I'll generally tend to turn the camera off immediately, so I'm essentially not imposing this process on them while they're on a hike in the hallowed hills above Kelowna or wherever I happen to be. That's all that's going on that way. A little more personal when we're going through scenarios that are less than stellar, as is seemingly often the case with a lot of people in this modern era. A natural response to that tends to be, for myself and for others as well, it's only natural, is that you use food to appease what feels like a less than amazing emotional, psychological state that you're in or experiencing. And another one of these discipline exercises that I've recently started to do is, instead of using food to temporarily, ineffectively alleviate what might be bothering me, I use some fasting instead. So I'll reverse the process of what's been going on. And fasting, as I'm going to outline in a moment, is a much healthier approach to this, but is, you might pick up on there. Yeah, the camera's kind of getting it. There's a really good shot that I want to get. I'll get back to you in just one sec. The benefits of the cardio, though, cardiovascular exercise, is what I'm referring to there, just intense, undeniable, kind of incredible, by the way. And even with the traffic noise directly below there and the shadow right across my face, it has still turned out to be an absolutely incredible experience. By and large, really, really, really glad I came on this wander, and kind of want to get it shut down and get going. Guess that's an option that way too, but I kind of think I want to stick with the gentler route, which appears to be veering to the left here. There's not really much to it as far as challenge goes. Always glad I came. Always glad I came on these wanders. In this era as well, there are some circumstances that are very unique to this very modern era we live in, where by many of the institutions and information sources, media outlets, whatnot, are proving to be extensions of an industrial interest and not necessarily truthful at all. If there is any semblance of truth to much of what they're saying, legacy media, they're often referred to as, if any of it is true, there's a blatant agenda to what they're reporting, describing, discussing. So there's a definite transition to that everyone, who can discern anything that they're observing or looking at or being told, has to see it, that almost all of what's being put out by these long-standing media bodies is not true. And that definitely is an adjustment that we all go through in this phase. There are more photos. As you can see, there's a couple more that way, and there's somebody coming, so I'm going to turn the camera off out of courtesy to this other hiker. Yeah, this eyes wide open kind of a scenario where you're more and more people are becoming aware of the realities of what's being sent their way. Not a huge thing for me. I was aware of this long ago, but I know that some are certainly going through a transition. And you know, any of these other circumstances where you become aware of something that's going on in your life specifically, or involving, you know, the population or society, or, you know, media manipulation of folks, let's say. In that scenario, again, always good to know these things. But once you do, the genie is out of the bottle, and no matter what happens from that point on, you as an individual are never going back, right? So, you know, no matter what goes on from that point forward, there is no amount of manipulation or anything, essentially, that is going to have your worldview returned to what it was before you became aware of what's really going on. Yeah. So again, maybe not as big a deal for me as it might be for some, because of, I don't know. Ooh, look at that. That's a nice one. Love it. Because, you know, it's not a minor thing I'm describing here, but I don't know. For many, it's an age of awakening, I guess we'll call it. But Boucherie hike overall, definitely thumbs up. Definitely in favor of it. There is this traffic noise that you're aware of, and it is very busy here. It's a Friday afternoon. I didn't anticipate it being anywhere near this busy. I have driven by here often, Angel on my head, and thought, hey, I gotta get up there. That looks incredible. Let me check that out. And here we are. Final phase coming up, and a sign indicating to stay on the trail because they're rehabilitating things. So that's what we're gonna do. Off we go for the final few curves to the parking spot.